everybody, it's Marco here again from Magna Vitae for some more cooking. Last time we did a fish dish, remember the mackerel risotto? Well, now we're going to have a look at a vegetarian dish, because I didn't want all you vegetarian people to be ignored and feel left out. This is another quite easy one, with items that you might have in your store cupboard, things that you've had lying around for a little while, you're not too sure what to do with them. So I've used a selection of different veg, and you can alternate those. It's not set in stone that you've got to use the veg I've chosen. We'll look at that in a minute. And I've got some different pulses to look at. So I've called it like a vegetable and pulse stew. So it's a bit thicker. So this would be quite good maybe for lunchtime, maybe to have as a snack, quite warming this time of year. I know what you're thinking, meat eaters out there, there's no meat in it, that's true, but you could add meat to it, chicken or anything like that. So let me just show you first of all what we're going to use. This is some pearl barley. Most people have got some of this in their store cupboard that they've never used, or they think, oh, I can't use that, so I bet, because I've got to soak it for hours on end, so I won't use that. But the good news is you don't have to soak it for hours on end. I'll show you what to do with that. And then we've got these ones, the orange or the red lentils. Again, people aren't always that sure what to do with them, so I can show you how we're going to deal with those today. The vegetables I've gone with are those that are quite easy to find at the minute. So I went around the supermarket earlier, there wasn't that much variety, shall we say, but I did find trusty carrots, of celery to use up, and couldn't find any leeks, but I did find some larger spring onions, so I thought we'd go for those variety. You can use whatever you like, parsnips, swede, anything at all. So I've just chosen these at random. So first of all, we'll just start on the carrots. We're going to just chop these up, take the outer skin off those, and get them chopped up. So this one pot meal is a lot more about the preparation. Once you've done the preparation, you're good to go really, because you can let it just simmer and do its own thing. You don't have to stand over it really. So that's your carrot done, nice and quick. Okay, and then we've got the celery. A lot of people say to me, I don't like celery, it's too strong. Well, if you've never tried it in cooking, you'll find the cooking does make it a lot milder. So give it a go. If you just have it in the raw state, I agree, it's quite a strong flavour. But when you steam it, cook it, roast it, whatever you want to do, it will definitely make it a lot milder. And you might be quite surprised that you suddenly like it. So just get your celery ready. We've washed that already, so that's good to go. I'm just going to chop this up fairly small. Remember, the smaller you chop the veg, the quicker it will cook. So want it in fairly small pieces. And also, people don't always want a great big chunk of veg when they're having a stew. They want a variety of veg in every spoonful as well. So just get all your celery chopped up like so. And just halve the stick, and then we'll just cut all the way down the stick. I'm not a chef, so I'm not that speedy when it comes to cooking, as you may have noticed, but it's not about chefing, it's really, this is about the nutrition side of things. So we're hoping you'll enjoy cooking, and not just an endurance. So all the celery cut up, one little piece left, and then we'll just get onto the carrots after that. Okay, so that's all your celery done. We're just going to put it on one of these little plates. Often I find with cooking, people cut things up and then they get snowed under with all the things they've chopped up, but they don't know where to put it. So just have a think about having a few little plates out, and you can just get your plate. So there you are, there's your celery ready to go. Your carrots, I'm just going to halve the carrot first of all, like so. Halve it again, and another, and then we're just going to cut them into little as somebody once said to me, batons. So we're not doing circles like you would for a roast dinner, for instance. We're just doing little fine little pieces of carrot, because obviously the carrot's probably the hardest veg out of these three, and it will take a little bit longer. So small pieces, and just chop it. Always mind your fingers, of course. If you're new to cooking, the secret of cutting vegetables up, I always find, is first of all a sharp knife. Secondly, always watch where your fingers are. I know it sounds obvious, but just make sure your fingers are always clear. And if you're going to put pressure on the knife, just be aware that veg is quite slippery. So you don't want to be cutting yourself on your first recipe, do you? So that's all the carrot just about done. One more piece. Just cut down there. And so like I say, you could buy one of those stew packs in, which are quite popular, with a parsnip, an onion, a swede, and that's maybe quite a good idea to start with. So then we get the spring onions, the larger spring onions. I'm just going to take off that top piece there and the root part. We don't want that. We've given them a wash already, so they're pretty much good to go. We'll just take that outer layer off that spring onion there, and then we can give it a slice up as well. There we go. Okay, so with your spring onion, I just slice straight down the onion first of all, like so, and just sort of nice and fine all the way through. Spring onions don't make you cry as much either, so that's quite nice. And chop it all the way down. Once we've done that, we can get that pan on and start cooking on gas. Nearly there. And the last one, we're just going to slice it straight down. There we go. And all the way from the root to the top. You can use all of the onion. There we go. Okay, so that's all your vegetables done. So what we're going to do first of all, I've just got a little bottle here of light olive oil. That's fine, or if you've got coconut oil in, that'll do. You don't need very much, just to get the pan, a bit of lubrication to when the vegetables go in. I'll switch the stove on now, fire her up, cooking on gas. There we go. Just get the oil warm a bit before you add the veg. While that's happening, what I've done for today's recipe to speed it up a little bit is I've soaked some of your pearl barley. If I didn't soak it, it's not a problem. It can still go in, but it'll just mean it takes a bit longer. So what I've done is I've soaked my pearl barley for about an hour in boiling water. The barley swells up and it softens it a little bit. So the cooking time, you see there it is, it's a lot more, I don't know if you can see that, it's a lot more swollen up now. And it won't take as long. Whereas the red lentils, they don't need any soaking at all. They can just be rinsed and then they're ready to go. Okay, so the oil now is just about ready. So get all the veg you've been slicing up and get it in your pan now. Okay, so here's your spring onion going in. Lovely. That's your first one. Get all that in. And then we'll get the celery going on in there. So obviously for this recipe you need a fairly deep pan because there's quite a lot of veg going in. And your carrots as well, get all that in. There we go. So the idea is, as the heat increases, we're going to saute the veg, soften it up a little bit and start that off. I'm just going to increase the gas on there a little bit, so you can start to hear it sizzling as we go along. So I'm only going to use, well, one main herb today, and that's thyme. It seems to go quite nicely. I've got it in the dried format. You can use fresh if you've got it, that's fine. Dried is fine, no problem, it gives it a nice flavour. just be aware with some of your spices, you might have had them kicking around at home for quite a long time, and they can be quite vulnerable to bacteria contamination. So just check on the expiry, because you might have had it since 2010 or something, as long as that. I wouldn't be surprised. It's just one of those things that stays on the spice shelf and gathers dust. So that's nicely softening up now. Just put the lid on there for a few moments. So in the meantime, I'm going to use one of our trusty stock pots from Knorr. These are gluten-free, so anybody who's got celiac condition, you're okay with these. And as I said before, it gives it it's an easy way of using the stock pot. You can either melt it in the liquid first of all, or it can go straight into the dish, no problem at all. So I've got one in here already. Do you like my nice enamel jug I'm using there with the cow on the front? I always ask people, where do you think where this jug is from? So first tip, which cow is that? No, it's not a Jersey cow. No, it's not an Aberdeen Angus. It's a Frisian cow. Frisian cows come from, surprisingly, Friesland, which is in the northern part of Holland. So the reason I got this when I was in Holland not that many years ago. This enamel jug reminds me of my oma, which is Dutch for grandma. And as I always say to people, my mum's Dutch, so that makes me half Dutch, but not double Dutch. There we are, little joke for you all there. So let's see how we're getting on with this vegetable. It's nicely sautéing now, really well. Beautiful. So I'm going to add now, I'll show you how simple this is. Get your pearl barley now that you've soaked previously, and just start adding that straight into the pan. There we go. So all of that straight in. I know what you're thinking, why have I got it in an empty Greek yogurt pot? Waste not, want not. Put that in there. And then with your washed orange lentils, they can go straight in the pan as well. There we are. And then we'll get a little bit of the thyme going on. So I'd probably pop in here maybe a couple of teaspoons. It's up to yourself. Just experiment, see what you find. I'm just going to put it straight in from the jar. There we are. It just gives it a lovely flavour. That'll do. Lovely smell, isn't it, thyme? I do like those. So now stir all that in. Give it a really good mix. So I think the principle of this dish is just showing you how we can use pulses and vegetables. And remember, these pulses are still providing quite a good amount of protein. You've mixed the two pulses, therefore you've increased the quality of the protein and the amount of protein as well. So that's all in there. So obviously we need some stock in there now to cook it in. So we've got some of that made up in the enamel jug. So pour some of that in. There we go, lovely. Because you've soaked your pearl barley, it's not going to take as long to cook through. And red lentils cook pretty quick actually. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that gas bottle, because I've got a feeling I might need to change it soon, because I've had quite a few cooking sessions out of it already. But don't worry viewers, because I've got a spare one here. We can get that changed in a jiffy very soon. So that's all going to come to temperature. We'll put a little bit of black pepper in there, seasoning as well. So you need some black pepper in there. Obviously taste it before it's done, and you can adjust the seasoning more as well. So I'm just keeping an eye on that gas flame. I think what I'm going to do, everyone, is I'm going to just take the pan off there, because the gas bottle's about at the end. So all I need to do is just take this off here, swap my, it was about empty. Take my gas bottle off there, got my backup one. Obviously you won't have to do this at home, unless you've been cut off of course. Put that in there. See, cooking on gas, excellent. Popping back on, and now we've got a much better flame now, so we can get back up to simmering point in a jiffy. This is always quite a popular dish, not just with vegetarians and vegans, but meat eaters as well. Probably because it's got quite a meaty mouthfeel, and the flavour's really good with that thyme as well. So let's get the pan nice and central on there. So in terms of nutrition, I asked you, I hear you asking me about what does it provide. Well, obviously you've used a lot of vegetables. So this is some of your 5 a day veg you've had there. That's fibre and a lot of vitamins and minerals you've consumed. Your lentils and your pearl barley, that's giving you a lot of fibre. And fibre is good for many things, not just helping you to go to the toilet, but it's for other things as well, helping your cholesterol profile, keeping your blood sugar nice and stable, those sort of things. So it's really good. If any of you out there are struggling with your diabetes, or you've got a diagnosis of pre-diabetes, this is an ideal dish. Anybody who's trying to manage your weight, this is a very good dish to have as well, because you'll find it makes you fuller for longer, not just because of protein in there, but because of all the fibre. So it's a great choice. You can freeze this, no problem, and you can make up a good batch of it, keep it in the fridge, 3 days will be fine, and it warms up really well. What can you serve it with? Well, you can either have it on its own, you could maybe serve it with some crusty bread, people often like that sort of thing if you've got any in. So let's just get all of that stock in there now, and then it can start to simmer away. And it shouldn't take too long at all now. I'm just going to adjust the flame a little bit. There we are. So just keep checking where you're up to. Could you do this in the slow cooker? Yes, you could. If I was doing that, I wouldn't bother pre-soaking the pearl barley. I would put it straight in. And to be honest, it wouldn't need that long anyway. Pearl barley, just as another pointer, pearl barley is actually the more refined barley. The real one, which is really hard to find apart from online, is pot barley. Anybody heard of that? Pot barley. So pot barley contains even more nutrients than pearl barley. Pearl barley is still good in terms of fibre and some nutrients, but the real top level one, if you can find it, is, like I say, pot barley. So we're just going to reduce that flame a little bit and just check it all. So all of that liquid in there is going to be absorbed by your lentils as they start cooking and your pearl barley, and it'll just start to thicken up. Now what I tend to do at the end, it's just another easy win in terms of vegetables. When that's about done, I tend to get the bag of spinach out, maybe add a couple of handfuls. So you're just increasing the amount of vegetables you're having, and it makes the colour of it more interesting as well. And like I said on the previous clip with the smoked mackerel risotto, people tend to enjoy spinach better when it's just added last minute into a recipe, not till it's boiled into a mush. That is not very exciting to eat. So this isn't going to take too long at all. It's a shame you can't get the aroma while you're watching it, but I'm sure you'll get plenty of that when you try it for yourselves. So let me just get the bag of spinach. So I bought a nice large bag, so this will go into a lot of different recipes. We used it in the smoked mackerel risotto, didn't we? We'll use it in this one as well, and it's just a handy one to have in. Most dishes you can add some of that at the end and just give yourself an extra portion size. There we go. So not much longer now. We can give that a test. I'm just looking for my spoons. Here we are. So I can give it a try and let you know how nice it all is. So just give that a little stir. like I said before, this is a really good for blood sugar control. So when you eat a meal, wherever you've eaten, some of it will break down into the smallest part, which is glucose. And as I always say to people, it's the speed of glucose, how quickly does it enter your bloodstream. So in this case, it's so full of fibre, it'll be a long, long time before the glucose starts to get into the bloodstream. So a lot of slow release energy there, which is ideal if you're prone to falling asleep mid-afternoon, nodding off in the chair after the 1 o'clock news, that kind of thing. This will be an ideal thing to have at lunchtime. And let me know how you feel after trying it. I'd be interested to hear your feedback on that. So I'm just going to try the carrot, see how soft it is, see where we're up to, and a bit of celery as well, and get the overall flavour of the dish as well. Remember, it'll be really hot when it comes out of the pan, so don't burn yourself, just give it a moment to cool. That's getting there. The thyme's really nice, that's coming through nicely. The carrot's a bit, what shall we say, a bit al dente. Most people in Britain wouldn't like it as firm as that, so let's just give it a bit longer. The lentils, the orange lentils, when they're cooked, they almost, well, they change colour really, they go a lot more brown in colour. So you'll know they're cooked, they're very quick to cook. And the pearl barley, I've tried some just there, it's already quite soft. And that's because you soaked it earlier, it just speeds up all that cooking phase. If you hadn't soaked it, it would add on maybe another 15-20 minutes just to get that cooked. So it just speeds it up. And it's quite easy to soak it, just weigh how much you want. Okay, so amounts that I've used, I didn't mention that, that's a good point. So the amount of red lentils, we used about 60 grams. If you use more than 60 grams, is that a problem? No, it will just thicken it up more. So just keep an eye on that. So 60 grams I've used in this. Pearl barley, I use 120 grams. So you can increase that if you want, but remember the more you use, the thicker it will get quicker as well. So you can use more or less, it's entirely up to you. The quantities I've found works quite well. And this isn't far away now to the real deal. There's just a little bit of liquid still to soak up, and then we'll give it another try in a few minutes. And obviously on standing it will thicken because of the lentils and the pearl barley, so don't be surprised if you pop it in the fridge, if you come back to it and you go, wow, it's so thick, what's gone wrong? Nothing's gone wrong, it just thickens. That's just the nature of lentils and barley. So all you need to do with that is just add some more water and thin it down. So that's, and even the celery goes a bit sort of lighter green as well, so you can see that that's nearly cooked as well. It's good to have the carrot in there because you've given an orange colour. So as I said on the previous recipe with risotto, it's not just about nutrition, it's not just about taste, it's got to look visually interesting as well. And I think because you've got a lot of variety of green, there's orange in there. Children particularly, I've noticed with this, are much more likely to eat it. So give it another good stir, just about there now. A little bit more seasoning in there as well. Probably another 5 minutes and then we're done. A little bit more seasoning. Let's get another spoon out. Okay. And then we'll give it a go. So I've got a bit of pearl barley as well as vegetables on this spoon load. I'll let it cool first, just remember it's super hot. You don't want to burn your mouth, do you? So just give it a blow on there. That's really nice. But then again, people who know me say I always say that. I always like my own cooking, you see. So give it a good stir. I'm quite happy with that. I don't know if you can see that probably on the camera. Yeah. So you see all the nice colours there, the different green colours. And that's good to go really. So thanks for joining me on another recipe. So we've seen now a fish recipe, a vegetarian one. So next time you tune in, I'm looking to do a meat, one for the meat eaters. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.